Capitol, they're scheming in the night, selling out our freedoms for a pocket full of spite. From the border to the heartland, the wolves are at the door, twisting truth and tearing down what our fathers fought before. But I'm a patriot source, standing tall and true, with a Bible in my hand and old glory flying blue. Ain't apologizing for loving this land. We'll fight the forces of evil with fire in our stand. God bless the USA, we'll never back down. Patriots for freedom, wearing that crown.
Man, oh man. Are we still using that elevator music, that like funeral home music for the countdown clock? We got to get that changed. I was sitting there like I felt like I was in the waiting room of a funeral home. We got to get that updated. Guarding the grid. Clipmaster Jake.
Welcome back. Welcome
need
back,
help.
Guarding.
Hey, welcome back. Welcome back, Guarding. We missed you. We need your help. The countdown clock, the music behind it sounds like a waiting room of a funeral home. We got to get that fixed. Folks, I hope you guys are having an awesome week. This is the Patriot Source podcast on the Patriot Source Network. You know all of us. We got SK over here, the incredible researcher, NomDePlume down here, PatriotDad. And I just have one really important question for everybody in the chat. Nom, SK, maybe you guys can help out. What are the 3 most important rules that you can never violate when you're running a political campaign? Anybody in the chat? 3 rules. What are they? What are they?
Let's give the chat a second to see if they can catch up. Does anybody know what the 3 rules to a campaign are?
Everybody,
Yeah,
you know, we talk about this all the
delay.
time.
There's a little bit of a delay.
Yeah.
Is
So
that me? Who's
here's
delayed?
no.
No,
It's in the chat. The chat's
in the chat, between the video and the chat.
No, it's not
Yep.
campaign fraud,
Not
GR
fraud.
Patriot. It's
Not
not
fraud. They get away with that all-
CYA. It's not cover your
goes back.
ass. Don't get in the way of the enemy destroying themselves. No,
That's a
those are
good
all
one.
good, but those are not it. You want me to
Don't
tell you
get
what
high
they
off your own stash. That's pretty close. The
are? That's a
fourth
good
strike.
one.
That's
a good
pretty
one.
close, but it's not the textbook definition. There's 3 of them. There's only 3. There's only
There's 3.
3 rules that matter. That's it. Only 3. Nom, what are they? SK?
Campaigns consist of 2 things: sound bites and snapshots. If you win the sound bites and the snapshots war in a campaign, you will win the campaign. What is the third? The third one is probably the most important, and it should help
is.
you understand. It
The
should
most
help you
important.
understand how we end up with the President Trump and why you're going to likely see Thomas Massie lose his seat in this primary, because you cannot allow your opponent to change the voters' perception of you. Meaning, voters have a perception of a politician, and if some scandal pops up and it significantly changes the perception of that candidate, those voters will break from you.
That's
They
right.
will.
That's right.
So the reason why we still have President Trump is because we've known who President Trump was, all his flaws, all his foibles, everything about him. The guy has been in the public eye for decades, and we all knew who he was. We knew he was a playboy. We knew that he had affairs. We knew he was Trump. He was a brand.
In fact,
Thomas Massie, however, had a brand, and that perception just got destroyed in one day.
That's right. So, SK, when you pulled the lever for Donald Trump back in 2016, had you already baked into your decision-making all of the stuff that you knew about the man prior to him running?
Absolutely. Nobody changed my mind. My hang up on Trump, because I didn't vote for Trump in the 2016 primary.
Neither did
I
I.
voted for him in the general, not the primary. My husband was all on board the second he came down the escalator. I was like, no, that guy's mouth is going to get us blown to pieces. And that was my hang up, was his mouth. And then after I really started thinking about it, and I was so tired of the PC bullshit that was constantly everywhere, I was like, let's go. Let's do it. What do we have to lose?
That's right.
PatriotDad, what was the real quick before we get off of Trump? What was the content of the phone call that you and I had when you were on the Ted Cruz and you were on the Never Trump? We probably need to go over this again, right? When you were on the Ted
We have
Cruz
some new
bandwagon
listeners.
and
We
I
should
was on
probably
the
go
Trump.
over it. Yep.
Yep.
The content of the phone call, because I was really pissed off at Donald Trump. I thought the guy was just an awful human being. I did not like the way he portrayed himself on the debate stage. I didn't like the way he attacked specifically Ted Cruz. I didn't care so much about little Marco. I thought that was fine. But lying Ted Cruz like sat in my crawl. I was not happy about that because I was living in this world where I thought it was going to be I thought we were going to be able to have a president that more mirrored what my version of Jesus in the White House should look like. I wanted a moral candidate. I wanted somebody in the primaries that I could open my Bible and I could read it and I could be like, yeah, my president kind of looks like that. And then Nom called me up one day because I was just ripping things apart over on Facebook where Nom and I really kind of started this thing years and years ago. And he called me up. He's like, dude, you got to knock it out. Quit it. He's like, none of those other candidates on that stage will be able to survive the onslaught that's coming their way against Hillary Clinton in the primary. None of them except for Donald Trump. He is the only one that's going to be capable of dealing with the propaganda machine that is getting fired up, ready to destroy him. And why is that? And it goes back to rule number 3, the most important rule of political campaigning. Because everybody already knew everything there was to know about Donald Trump at that point. They knew it all. So, SK, I'll put this question back to you again. You debate live all the time with dumb leftists on social media. You do it. And anytime one of them come into your live and they ask you stupid questions about why you could support somebody who cheated on his wife, what's your response?
My response is, I was not aware that we're supposed to be looking to the president of the United States to be our preacher, our pastor, our moral compass in any way, shape, or form.
Because you
Was not aware.
already baked that into your decision, right? You already knew about that stuff. So when people throw things at you about a candidate that you already knew, it doesn't matter because that's part of your decision making. The reason
I want to add on to that.
Yeah, go ahead.
I want to add on to that. Hey, I got a news flash for everybody that may be new to, I don't know, the world of politics. Every global leader, every titan of industry, every Fortune 50 or Fortune 100 CEO, they are all slime balls. Okay. You don't ascend to the levels of power that these people have ascended to without being able to get in the mud, to muck around, to throw elbows, and do probably horrendous, heinous things to people all around you, right?
That's right.
So you have to bake that in. So Ted Cruz being the closest personification of Jesus in the White House, I'm sorry, it was a ludicrous position to begin with. And if any bit of information had come out, true or not, from the Clinton campaign, which it would have changed your perception.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. There is nothing that somebody can tell me about Donald Trump today that I didn't already know. So when I hear people say that Donald Trump is a pedophile who does untoward things to children, first of all, I've done the research and I know that that's just simply not true. I've done it all. I've read all the files. I know where all the fake stuff comes from. So I'm armed against it. You can't change my perception of the man because my perception is based on fact. It's not based on nonsense. And this is the reason why Thomas Massie is in such trouble right now. This is the reason why the Thomas Massie campaign is having to do things today that they probably never thought they would have to do. This is the reason why they are getting ready to make what I think is going to be one of the fatal flaws of his campaign, which we'll talk about here in a few minutes. So we're going to spend some time talking about Thomas Massie and his campaign because you're getting ready to watch one of the biggest political faux pas probably in American history play out this weekend. It's going to be really bad. And I can't wait to point it out. We've got some other stuff. I have no idea what else we have on tap, if I'm being honest with you, because I had to actually work today. So Nom and SK took over show prep. So after I'm done ranting about Thomas Massie, I get to play color commentary and they get to take the show over, kind of warm up for Friday, I suppose. So I don't know what else. What else
Wait
do you
a
guys have on
minute.
tap?
I come here without having any idea what's going on, and I am able to get through it. You can get through it, Patriot.
Oh, I'll get through it. I'm going to play color commentary, which means I'm not going to be driving the bus. I'm going to be in the back of the bus throwing spitballs at you guys. That's what I'm going to be doing. What else do we have on tap, Nom? What else did you? What else? What are we talking about tonight?
Well, so I mean, the shenanigans from the redistricting fight are still going on. Tennessee, down there in Tennessee, there's some punishments happening for. We got some breaking news with Tulsi. Hey, we got that too. We've got Tulsi Gabbard. We got the CIA raiding, not raiding, confiscating, not confiscating. We'll get to all that. Some documents from the office.
And it's been
Director
hours
of National
and
Intelligence.
hours. It's been hours.
Unless there's
This has
something
been
else. I
open
mean, did
for
she
hours.
resign or
No.
Okay, then I think we have it covered.
No. So we got that. We got some stuff going on down there in the Tennessee legislature. We've got AOC and her nonsense, Virginia redistricting. They can't count. We're going to spend a little bit more time on that because, folks, it's important, right? So you have gotten an endless onslaught of Democrat and media liars, and I repeated myself there, that what happened in Virginia was Jim Crow 2.0. In fact, it was just the Constitution of the state of Virginia doing what it's supposed to do. Anyway, we got that. What else do we got? A few other things. We'll see what pops up. We got Patty Murray just getting wrecked by Kash Patel. That was fun.
That was good. Before we start, we committed to praying for somebody on Monday. SK, remind me, what's going on?
Vicky. It's Vicky. I saw a comment right before we got off the live on Monday night that said that there was an MRI and that it spread to the brain. So I'm going to assume it's probably the big nasty C word. But she was asking for prayers. I did see that, and it was right before the live went off. Like, it cut off as I was typing, "We'll be praying for you." So I didn't get the full story, but I definitely think we need to pray for her.
Yeah, I don't see Vicky here, but that doesn't matter. Patriot Vicky.
Yeah, Patriot Vicky.
Father, we just lift up Patriot Vicky to you right now. I don't know all the details, Lord. I don't know who personally is affected by this, but Lord, we lift her up to you right now. We lift her family up to you. In the name of Jesus, Father, we command all traces of cancer to die and go in the name of Jesus, Father. We speak healing over the body of the person that is afflicted by this diagnosis. We command that thing to get out in the name of Jesus, Father. We praise you for total restoration from the top of their head to the bottom of their feet. And Father, we thank you that you provide a covering of peace, a covering of healing, an anointing over that entire family, Father, that you bring them closer to you through this. Lord, in the name of Jesus, we thank you, Father, for total healing, for restoration. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen. All right, let's get into it. So, look, I want to start out by saying that what we're going to show you tonight, the narrative that is being created by this woman, Cynthia West. Maybe back up. Have you guys all heard what's going on with Thomas Massie? You guys have heard this, right? So Thomas Massie, everybody knows, is the Republican, libertarian, fake and gay ass, black pill, want to be America first candidate. It is the person that all of the FAGA crowd has tied their every living hope and prayer to being able to salvage his campaign. He is the one who literally built his name on this mountain that he is the candidate that demands transparency of the Trump administration, demands accountability for the Epstein files. He is the one who has been championing this effort literally since the day that Donald Trump decided to go into Iran and take out the nuclear facilities. The timing of when Thomas Massie got activated is not at all surprising, considering the stance that he takes, his anti-Israel stance that he takes, because you guys know that he didn't actually care about the Epstein files until right exactly when we decided to partner with Israel to go take out the nuclear facilities. That was the time.
Weird.
Very interesting, isn't it?
Weird.
But
zero mentions of Epstein for years at a time.
That's right. That's right. But he built his persona, his perception, he built his political fortunes on this idea that he is the candidate of transparency. And up until just a few days ago, he was able to hold on to that. And then on, I think it was Monday night, late Monday night, about 10 o'clock, I'm scrolling around. It was after that. It was after the show. Was it Monday? It might have actually, I think it was Monday. Monday night. Late Monday night. It might have been 1 o'clock in the morning, actually. I was scrolling on X and I come across a post from somebody who was sharing a 20-minute video of this woman named Cynthia West. Had no idea what it was. The post said, you need to watch this. So I did. And as I sat there for 20 minutes listening to the story that Cynthia West told, my initial reaction was not, do I believe this woman? Don't I believe this woman? Is she being truthful? Is she not being truthful? Because the reality is, there is the most salacious things in her narrative are things that we can probably never prove, but that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all, because what her story has done is it has totally destroyed the perception that Thomas Massie spent a year trying to create, which he is the transparency champion. He's the accountability champion. So she tells a story about how within a few months of Thomas Massie's wife passing away, Thomas Massie started to aggressively pursue her romantically, that relationship accelerated very quickly. It resulted in him taking her on trips with him. She ultimately says that within a short period of time, he has encouraged her to leave her job and to join him in Washington, D.C. She alleged that Thomas Massie helped to get her a job with another Republican congresswoman, a woman by the name of Victoria Spartz, who is an interesting character in and of herself. She seems to be very focused on Ukraine. Like, that's one of the only issues that she seems to care about. And Thomas Massie is very good friends with her, but that doesn't matter. And then she goes on to talk about the treatment that she had while working for Victoria Spartz. Apparently, Victoria Spartz is well known as one of the worst representatives to work for on Capitol Hill. Can be very abusive to her staffers, treats people terribly, yells and screams at them, berates at them. You know, exactly what you would expect from one of these idiots up in Washington, D.C. So because of the treatment that she was having, she alleges that she was terminated from her job, and then she filed an ethics complaint. Now, in that ethics complaint, we don't know the details of it yet. What we do know is that Cynthia West claims that she pretty quickly broke the relationship off with Thomas Massie because he was pressuring her to engage in behavior that she was not comfortable with. That's the statement that she made. We don't know what that behavior was. And honestly, it doesn't really matter, because what matters is what she said next. When she reached out to him ahead of filing the ethics complaint. Oh, am I supposed to get Nom's attention? Do we need Nom's attention? Why do we need Nom's attention?
I don't know. I was doing something. I was creating some content for the next part of the show. Sorry, Tora, I wasn't paying attention. I was listening. I'm listening. What's going on?
Is there something that Nom's supposed to be paying attention to?
What am I supposed to be doing?
All right, I'm going to keep going.
I will say, Tora, I did see before the show started your talk about your Mother's Day gift and purchasing it yourself from your 2-year-old son. So busted.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah, we did.
The problem that Thomas Massie has is what she said next. She said that when she called Thomas Massie to let him know that she was getting ready to file an ethics complaint for the way she was treated and terminated from her job in Representative Spartz' office, he became very angry. And according to her, at least this is what she says, offered her $5,000 if she would just go away.
And that she was just one person and she couldn't actually make a difference.
That's right. Offered her $5,000 to just go away. Now, what is the problem that Thomas Massie now struggles with because of that one allegation? Anybody in the chat?
Oh, it's
What's
because
the
she has
problem
a
with that?
pinned Rumble rant thing. That's why she was trying to get your attention.
Oh, there's a
Rumble
Rumble
rant.
We need to do the
Oh,
Rumble
look,
rant.
Massie is not Saint Kling film. He's not what? What is that?
He's not transparent. I saw that comment earlier. I just didn't know it was a super chat. Or
I don't know what
Rumble
Saint
rant.
Kling film means. He's not
Like
transparent.
saran wrap, like see-through.
Ah,
Clean. Oh
Yeah.
my God. Could, oh, huh.
Look,
Okay.
the allegation that he offered her money to go away is a direct contradiction to the perception that he has been creating about himself for the last year. That is the violation of rule number 3. Once that perception is gone, you can never get it back. It's gone for good. It's not coming back. Thomas Massie is no longer the champion of transparency because of an allegation.
Well, what it does, frankly, is it makes him look like he was playing a game, like he was engaged in an op, and he was pretending to be this champion of transparency. And when you sort of zoom out a little bit and you see, you know, everything that he and Ro Khanna and what they were trying to do and what they were trying to hang around President Trump's neck. And I know you're going to get to all this stuff in the transparency legislation and all that stuff, but it makes it look like he was play acting to begin with, right? Instead of, you know, someone who actually cared about that stuff, but, you know, maybe they won't see this. Like, what he was putting out as public persona was fake to begin with for a political reason, so that they could then create this second party that they have to distance themselves from and destroy Trump in order for it to succeed, which is in that context, looking back 2020 vision, that makes a lot of sense. Everything that they've done for the last year was all just a game, all just politics.
It was all just a game. And as a matter of fact, let's pull up Massie Cynthia 5K, because I want people to hear what she said. And this video has literally gone all the way around the internet and back again. But what most people are focusing on in this is this perception that there was some type of sexual deviancy that took place. I don't care at all about that. I could care less that Thomas Massie and Cynthia West were engaged in a romantic relationship, even if it was just a month after his wife passed away. Don't care. Couldn't care less. They can do whatever the hell they want. They're both consenting adults. If he was trying to pressure her into doing things she was uncomfortable with, I have no idea what that means, and I don't care at all. What the voters of Kentucky District 4 care about is this clip right here. It's this one. This is what is going to do his campaign in.
And he was very angry, and he said, you're just one person, that you can't make a difference, that you need to just walk away. And then he had $5,000 that he said that he would give me if I would just walk away. I didn't take it, though.
Did he offer you a check?
No, he has cash. So it's part of his cow money, right? It's his non-traceable money.
No, wait a minute. You said it's part of his cow money?
Yeah, because he's got cows. He sells cows and he gets cash, and he keeps it kind of. Yeah.
He doesn't report it?
No.
So how did he act when you wouldn't take the money and walk away?
Well, he was very angry at that conversation. Yeah.
All right. Have you?
I think we can pause it there. Do you see the problem, folks?
Are you telling me that Congress doesn't claim all the money, all the cash that they get? They don't claim that on their taxes? I don't believe you.
No.
Now I got to be honest. When I first heard it was cow money or cow fund, I thought that it was literally like a fund that he had, and he was calling women cows, and it was a fund that he used to pay off cows. Sorry, I was like, oh, that's not going to play well at all. But the cow money, yeah. So I mean, that's tax fraud, but okay. Cool, dude.
Raise your hands. I know the spirit of the law is that that's tax fraud, but let's be honest, every American on the planet does the same thing.
If you had a garage sale under the Biden administration, if you had a garage sale and you like made $700 at your garage sale and you didn't claim that on your taxes, you're breaking the law.
That's right.
Cow money.
Yeah, just the notion that the champion of transparency was possibly, allegedly, trying to buy the silence of somebody. And what it was that he was trying to buy the silence, according to her, for, I have no idea, because she doesn't say. She doesn't say that he was buying the silence of whatever the sexual thing was that she was uncomfortable with. She doesn't say.
That's not what I got out of that. The silence, the $5,000 and just walk away was drop the ethics complaint against the woman that that she filed the ethics complaint against, because they were friends, and he was trying to get her to drop. That's what I got out of this, that he wanted her to drop the ethics complaint against his friend.
Yeah,
he's going to pay her off.
This is the violation of the most important rule of politicking. The perception that he is a champion of transparency is now gone, and you can never get it back, ever. It's not possible. And what's the result of that? Sorry, SK, go ahead.
Well, do you have his statement that he posted on X from his was it his campaign? Which account did he use? He didn't use his.
I think he did it from his personal account. I read it, but I don't have it. But he didn't deny the relationship. I think he denied offering her money for something.
His denial was very specific. If I can find this video, I'll put it in Dropbox so that you can play it, because it's very good. And his denial, it was the Chamberlain dude that he's threatening to sue.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's Will Chamberlain.
It's a great video because he breaks it down, and he's like, his wording is very specific.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to get into a pissing match with Will Chamberlain, frankly.
No.
He's very good.
He's very good. So here's the result of having the perception of who you are as a politician completely dismantled. So this entire campaign, Thomas Massie has been leading by a very wide margin. And after the Cynthia West disclosure, this is what it looks like now. Ed Gilrain is now up 48.3 to 43.1. And what's worse is that when you add in what's called leaners, which are the most important potential voters in the last week of a campaign, Ed Gilrain is up 52.8 to 45.1. He is winning the undecideds 2-1 right now. 2-1. 2-1. So look, folks, you can get mad at me. Those of you guys over on X, those of you guys that are listening to this, that for some reason are part of the Massie's Nasties, you can get as pissed off at me as you want. But I'm not the one who broke the rule. I'm not the one who tried to create a perspective of who the candidate is, only to have that perspective dismantled. As a matter of fact, it doesn't even matter if I believe her. I do, by the way, because just about everything that she mentioned in that video has now been verified. It's been proven. We know that she worked for Victoria Spartz. We know that there's an ethics violation complaint that was not only proven by Axios, who got their hands on the complaint, it was also verified that she was terminated by the representative directly. We know, as a matter of fact, let's pull this up. There's one more thing in here that I want to pull up. We know because of a post by an acquaintance of both of them that, in fact, there was a history of Thomas Massie. Oh, you got too many images up here. No, can you pull up the Massie Cynthia receipts 2 and get that up here for me? We know that there is a witness to their relationship. So we know there was a relationship. We know that there is a history of Thomas Massie giving her money. This person right here, Anna, who I'll just read through this real quick. Thomas and Cynthia visited my home in Savannah after the passing of his wife. From my recollection, it had only been a few months, and he was clearly heartbroken and grieving. I specifically remember conversations by the pool where he talked about how deeply the loss had affected him. It goes on and say he was kind to Cynthia, respectful, and they appeared happy together at the time. And it goes on and says that I also personally knew Cynthia was going through a very difficult divorce during that period and was unhappy with her legal representation. To my recollection, the $5,000 Thomas gave her or lent her was related to helping her obtain a different attorney. So we know that there's a history of money in this relationship. We know that. And we also know that there was an ethics complaint that was filed, and allegedly there's a $60,000 settlement on the table.
We've got it right here. Hold on a second. Where is it?
No, it wasn't a settlement. Hold on. Let me clear this up.
No,
It was an
Hold on.
NDA from the Spartz lady
from
for the
Spartz, yeah.
employment dispute. But in order to get that 60,000, she had to sign an NDA. And
Yep.
Cynthia alleges that she did not sign the NDA because the NDA also covered Massie and the stuff that went down with Massie. And so she refused to sign it. And Axios got the NDA.
Yeah. So here it is. I pulled it up. This looks like there's some context. So again, guys, remember, at least my take on this entire thing is not that Massie was trying to pay or to cover anything up, anything from, you know, what he was trying to get this woman to do and she wasn't comfortable with, that this was all about her dropping the ethics complaint against his friend, Victoria Spartz. So it looks like Axios has actually obtained the confirms that the $60,000 settlement and NDA is legitimate. And they spoke with both Massie's office and Cynthia West. So Thomas Massie threatened West at a Cracker Barrel in Kentucky. Axios states Cynthia West had issues with transparency and accountability. That's why she couldn't remain silent with money, assuming from hypocrites like Thomas Massie. To make things worse, West was let go because she spoke up when Victoria Spartz hired a non-citizen as a district director position over Ukraine. Not very America first. Story seems 100% legitimate. So they've got images here of the Axios article, proposed agreement. According to proposed agreement obtained by Axios, West was offered a $60,000 settlement and a wrongful termination complaint against Spartz. So my reading of this, folks, is not that they were trying to cover up any sexual allegations with this woman. I don't think that's the scenario at all. I think he was trying to get her to drop this ethics complaint against his friend. Anyway, for what it's worth. So that's
it's worth a lot.
She alleges that the NDA included not being able to talk about Massie and this stuff. So that's why she was refusing to sign it.
That's right. That's right. So rule number 3 has been violated and you can't get it back. You cannot put that perspective back in the bottle. It is now out there that Thomas Massie is no longer a champion of transparency. And honestly, I don't know what the hell took so long, because we've been saying for months now that in fact, Thomas Massie and Ro Khanna are probably the ones who are responsible for the legal umbrella that was created that forced the Trump Department of Justice to redact the very names that then Thomas Massie and Ro Khanna went out for months claiming that the Trump administration was hiding from you.
Can I just say something really quick? Because as I was going through all this today, also somebody on TikTok owes me $200 over that NDA document Axios story right there. That's beside the point. But while I was listening to all this today and yesterday, reading through all of this and these allegations and the comments that she's left on Massie's posts and the pictures of her with hippos in South Africa and all these receipts that have been showing up, I find it highly ironic that Massie's getting angry that people are talking about this without having proof of it, because how many people's names did he mention, like, on the floor that were innocent and not involved in anything nefarious at all whatsoever with regards to the Epstein files? Also, didn't he accuse Trump of doing things without having any proof? I'm just wondering what it's like when karma comes back around.
It doesn't feel good, I bet. And that you can tell that he's very nervous about it because he's getting his ass kicked in the polls, getting his ass kicked, and rightfully so. Like, look at this. Look at this. This just came out. So this is a deeper dive into the polling. Kentucky, CD 4. Ed Gilrain, 48.3. Thomas Massie, 43.1. But look at the leaners. Leaners included. Gilrain expands his advantage. When you put the leaners in, he's at 52.8. The leaners are moving 2-1 towards Ed Gilrain. That is the last thing you want to see when your campaign is tanking and your opponent's campaign is going up and to the right. Gilrain is winning the leaner pool by more than 2-1. that momentum is likely to not stop between now and next Tuesday.
Yeah. I mean, that's what you're looking at is the result of a changed perception of a candidate. I mean, there's no other excuse or no other reason for that. Whether it's right or wrong, guys, it doesn't, PatriotDad's right. It doesn't matter when you can significantly change the perception of a candidate in an election. The undecideds will be like, no, I wasn't sure about that guy to begin with. Now I'm definitely not sure about him because he didn't put forward what I'm actually seeing. I mean, for the last year, he was an entirely different person. And now I'm seeing that he is totally fine with paying someone to shut up.
Whether that's true or not, that's the perception that people now have. And this is the problem with building a perception of yourself that is not based in reality.
Yeah.
You see, because if Thomas Massie would have been honest about the Transparency Act that he wrote, and he would have actually indicated to the American people that he created the legal umbrella by which redactions are now required, instead of spending the last 8 months claiming that things were redacted they shouldn't have been redacted, he probably would not be in this situation right now, and he would probably be sailing his way to re-election.
Yeah. Well, let's be clear about what happened and why it happened. So Thomas Massie and Ro Khanna and a number of other people, MTG and others, maybe not Ro Khanna, he's got his own issues, but Thomas Massie, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and a whole slew of creators out there have decided that they want to peel off a portion of the MAGA base, create their own political party, and then siphon off the rest of the MAGA base by destroying Trump, attacking his agenda, saying that nothing's happening, everything's a failure. Look, President Trump is now just one of those guys over there. Come over here to us. We're actually what President Trump promised that he was going to be, even though you're actually getting exactly what President Trump promised he was going to be. But they're going to spend all their time downplaying and pretending like it's not happening. So this was a calculated move on the part of Thomas Massie and a number of other folks. And it looks like, listen, guys, Trump plays this game better than all of you. I don't understand. He's been doing this for 10 years. He has been dragging these people around the internet, the entire planet, for 10 freaking years. All they had to do was sit down and shut up for like 2 more years. Then you can have a primary battle. That's fine. Don't have it in the middle of his in the first year of his second term.
Well, Nom, can you pull down some of those things that we're pretty much done with all the stuff in there now?
I just wanted to read real quick. Massie posted like 12 hours ago or so to respond to all this, which is crazy because this has been going on for like 2 days. He said, it's sad that a week before this election, people are making false and unsubstantiated allegations about me in an obvious attempt to influence the outcome of this election. All of the claims of inappropriate conduct are false. I've never offered anyone money in exchange for their silence. I report all of my farm income, including cash, to the IRS. There are no ethics claims filed against me, nor have there ever been any claims filed against me in my 14 years in office. I have consulted legal counsel, and we are considering all options.
Oh, no.
And then, of course, he linked his donate where you can give him money. He said, please help me fight back in this moment. But the mass hole bomb, money bomb. But he then posted 3 hours ago, he retweeted Victoria Spartz and said, she said, due to numerous requests from the media, Rep. Spartz issued the following statement regarding Ms. West's allegations against Rep. Massie and Rep. Spartz's office. Quote, Rep. Spartz has never heard of an alleged $5,000 settlement proposal or any other settlement proposal by Rep. Massie regarding allegations Ms. West brought against Rep. Spartz's office. The first time Rep. Spartz heard these accusations by Ms. West against Rep. Massie was a few days ago in Ms. West's public video. On a personal level, Rep. Spartz considers Thomas Massie to be one of the strongest supporters of women in Congress and a defender of women's rights amongst her GOP colleagues. Rep. Spartz has seen him in action. Okay. Miss West was not terminated by our office. Rather, her temporary employment was not extended beyond 90 days due to concerning conduct by Miss West. A few months.
Pause. So, as somebody who's done a lot of hiring and firing in my day, when you tell somebody they no longer have a job at the place that they go to every day, that is called a termination. They're terminated. I don't care what you try to call it from a legal perspective. When she had a job one day and then she didn't have a job the next day, you fired her.
Right. So she said her temporary employment was not extended beyond 90 days due to concerning conduct by Miss West. A few months later, Miss West brought allegations against Rep. Spartz's office, which Rep. Spartz denied and refused to settle during the pre-filing period. Recently, due to delays and other circumstances in this case, Rep. Spartz was willing to reconsider settlement discussions in order to save taxpayer money and mitigate disruptions to the operation of the office.
Wait.
At no point.
Is that an admission that there was, in fact, a settlement on the table?
There was a settlement. That's been proven.
Oh,
Axios
son of a
has the
gun.
actual settlement.
Son of a
But
gun.
here's the thing. So, Rep. Spartz was willing to reconsider settlement discussions in order to save taxpayer money and mitigate disruptions to the operation of the office. At no point did Rep. Spartz try to force Miss West into a non-disclosure agreement. Force. That's the operative word here.
See how they do it?
Yeah.
Slimy.
On the contrary, Rep. Spartz would be happy to publicly disclose all aspects of these allegations, the circumstances surrounding Miss West's employment, and how this process is structured in Congress, if permitted to do so, which means she's not going to say anything because Congress is never going to vote to allow that to happen.
These people are such crooks. It's so, I mean, come on. Seriously. I mean, look, the only part of this woman's story, is Cynthia West story so far, that has not been validated in one way or another is the allegation that Thomas Massie offered her $5,000 to go away. And at this point, none of that matters. It doesn't matter because the perception of Thomas Massie as a champion of transparency is over. It's over. And that's the only thing that he had left, because as he's been voting with Democrats, as he's been standing shoulder to shoulder with Democrats, as he's been actively trying to stop the Trump agenda in every instance that he can, that's now who he's seen as. He's no longer the champion of transparency. He's the Republican that's been standing against the MAGA agenda. And in case you didn't know it, his district is wildly supportive of Donald Trump's agenda, wildly supportive. Which is why, if you look at this data that's on the screen here, this shows you the percentage of money raised by Thomas Massie from in-state contributions and out-of-state contributions. 6% of the contributions that he's received are coming from people in Kentucky. And I guarantee you that the percentage of people that are coming, that money coming from his district is probably half of that. So if I have to hear one more lecture from somebody, from people complaining about AIPAC propping up the Gilrain campaign, I think I might pull what's left of my hair out. Because here's the deal. I'll just be honest with you folks. I would, if I was in his district, I would much rather vote for someone who's supported by American Jews than somebody who's supported by NIAC, which is the National Iranian American Councils, which, by the way, is effectively the Iranian version of AIPAC. I would much rather vote for somebody who is getting funding from American Jewish citizens than somebody who gets funding from a radical Islamist down in Texas. I would much rather vote for somebody who supports the agenda that I care about rather than somebody who is no longer a champion of transparency and, in fact, is voting against my agenda. That's the record that now he has to run on.
Okay.
Hey, I got something up. Well, go ahead, SK, and then I want to.
Well, I was going to say, we need to remember Joe Kent is supporting Massie. He's been tweeting about Massie and supporting him and all of that here recently. Also, on May 31st, 2024, Thomas Massie tweeted, Alvin Bragg in New York, ridiculously claimed hush payment was campaign expense. I should use campaign money to pay someone $1,000 hush money. Maybe my wife, she has a ton of dirt on me, and report it on my FEC report as hush money to see if FEC will accept it as a legitimate campaign expenditure. That didn't age very well.
No. All right, we're going to move the ball forward. Nom, you had one more thing to add, and then we got to jump into the stupid creators for Epstein, or I'm sorry, creators for Massie debacle that's getting ready to happen.
Ready?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm going to play something. Ready? Maybe.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Is this cow money? It's cow money.
The comic crew's frontin', liberals and Dems always lying and stunting.
It says cow money.
Cow money,
It's the
folks.
cow money.
Cow money.
There it
That's
is.
where the cow money comes.
That's where the cow money comes from. Pole dancing.
You're gonna have to send that to me because I'm gonna send that to my husband, because what he's gonna say is all those dollars flying at the cow. That's what happens when you own cows.
Yeah, you throw it out. Yeah,
That's true.
it's like boats and pools and all that
That's
stuff,
true.
fun stuff.
All right, so
It's all very
here, so you can tell how desperate these people are because they're doing the last thing that any rational campaign would ever want to do. Did you guys see this? Did you guys hear about the hashtag CreatorsForMassie campaign that's going on right now? Nom, can you pull up the shoot? It's not here. I'll pull it up because it's not named. Damn it! You guys got to see this. This is probably the dumbest thing that could possibly happen right now, but they don't have any other choice. Here you go. Maybe. Is it going to play? Come on. There it is.
Is everything wrong with American politics today? This is what happens when a politician serves the interests of his voters, constituents, and the American people instead of the interests of billionaires and their pedophile friends. But I have a plan to stop it, and it's going to take every single one of us, and we're going to start right now because Thomas Massie needs our help, and he needs it today. Story time. 8 days ago, I was sitting at a lunch table in Washington, D.C., across from Congressman Thomas Massie, when he pulled out his phone, showed me a tweet, and asked me, Miss Yancey, did you mean it when you sent this? The tweet in question, I will fly to Kentucky and bring every follower I have across every platform to fight for Rep. Thomas Massie. POTUS has grossly misjudged how done the citizenry is with bought and paid for politics. And the answer I gave him, absolutely, Congressman, what do you need? He said, that is exactly what I need. Can you help me? Now, if you're
Pause. Did you guys hear that? Thomas Massie is inviting content creators into the 4th District of Kentucky to try to save his ass. This is the last thing that any rational campaign would ever want to do. The last thing. Nom, let me ask you a question. You're kind of from this Midwest area. You and I grew up in this area. His district is like northern Kentucky, kind of around Cincinnati, but pretty rural. I'm wondering, from your perspective, SK, you may have a perspective on this too, because you live out in the country. How many people in his district do you think give a flying crap what this or any other influencer from out of state is going to say when they show up on the sidewalks of his district? Do you think they're going to care at all?
No, not very many at all. Maybe some of the young people, very young people, new voters, maybe might care. But here's the thing. This is what gets me. When you have out-of-town influencers flying in from all over the country to campaign for you and make TikToks for you and make, post videos on X and YouTube and whatever else, how is that representing the people of your district? It's like the exact opposite of that. Why are you going to? It makes no sense to me. The people of the district are the ones that are going to be electing you. Why are you flying people in from all over the state to try to tell the people of your district that this is who needs to represent you? The people of the district know who they want to represent them. They don't need influencers on the internet telling them who to vote for.
They don't need dyed red hair, whatever is going on with her hair, so-called influencers
she's
to
a
come
nice,
in.
She's a nice girl.
I'm sure.
She's a nice girl.
I'm sure.
She's an RFK girl. These are some of these people are Maha people. I mean, some of these people I really like, but But I just can't get behind this. I can't support this. As somebody who does live in a rural area and who knows who I want to represent me, I would be highly offended if all these people started flying into my district to try to influence me to vote for somebody else.
Well,
yeah, I
and
mean,
it's-
this reeks of exactly what you would expect a Democrat to do, frankly. And I'm not
Everyone
calling
likes those
Thomas
celebrities.
Massie a Democrat, but this is precisely what they would do. They would call all their Hollywood friends, all their famous friends, to come in and try to stump for him and shill for him. I think we've got a list of all these creators that have pledged to do this. How are you going to explain someone like Ryan Matta, who fled to El Salvador, and basically everybody on your list of, basically not everybody, but pretty close to all of them are vehemently anti-Semitic.
Yes.
Vehemently anti-Semitic, and they spent the last 8 months doing everything they can to blame the murder of Charlie Kirk on his own wife. So this is, guys, you tried this in Ohio. You're trying it with Fishback in Florida. I don't know how many more of these you guys are going to need before you just go away.
Well, they're not, because they're trying to stand up their own political party. That's what this is. This is an effort to try to rally behind a candidate that they think has a chance of being the figurehead of their new political party, the FAGA party, the fake and gay ass political party. That's what they're trying to create. And I'm sorry, but if you are an influencer and you think that you're going to be able to roll into Kentucky 4 and change the minds of sophisticated voters who have watched the perception of a candidate be dismantled by allegations that, in fact, he is not a champion of transparency, you are sorely mistaken. Sorely mistaken. I would just encourage some of you, if you're thinking about joining this party, don't.
It would be harder. It would be easier for them to get away with this if the opponent wasn't like a career decorated Special Forces Navy SEAL, like actual patriot. I mean, if he was some, squishy rhino or whatever who was trying to do this, or, seemed to be a bit of a Democrat crossing over, pretending to be a Republican, and, the money's, it's questionable, all that stuff. You guys have done everything you can to try to make the case that anything Israel or anybody that touches Trump is owned by Epstein. It's owned by Israel. In fact, you're just making fools out of yourself. It's not working. You are not smelling your own farts. You don't know how bad this is.
I want to play real quick the end of her statement, and I may have to fast forward a little bit, because let me ask you a question. Well, let's play this first, and then I'll ask you. Hold on, I want to pull this back up again. Come on, get back in there.
Familiar with what's going on in the 4th District of Northern Kentucky. Right now, Representative Thomas Massie, an incumbent that boasts the highest approval rating of any member of Congress, according to voters across the United States, is currently fending off a challenge from a primary candidate named Ed Gilrain, a guy nobody's ever heard of before, but Trump said that was fine because he just needed a warm body, and Kentucky voters...
Real quick, excuse me, Tiffany. We don't know each other personally. I've respected your content, but have you ever been in the 4th District of Kentucky? Seriously, you realize that they actually know who Ed Gilrain is, right? You may not know who he is. The creators for Massie may not know who he is, but voters in that district know who he is. How do you think it's going to play when you show up in that district and just say, well, nobody knows who this guy is? They're going to look at you and be like, yeah, we do. We know who he is. But hold on.
You don't, because you don't belong here.
That's right. You don't, because you don't live there. Hold on.
Would vote the way he told them to. Now, all of that would probably seem fine if it was just a regular primary, but it's not. What's actually happening right now is that in retribution for Thomas Massie fighting so hard to release the Epstein files and back the victims of Epstein's crimes, these 3 billionaires right here that have zero ties to Kentucky have spent nearly $13 million in one of the smallest districts in the U.S. that currently has a primary to try to unseat Thomas Massie for refusing to protect their pedophile friends.
All right. Just a wild guess. Just a wild guess. Folks in the chat, help me out here. Just a wild guess. You realize that Thomas Massie's district voted in favor of Donald Trump like 40% or something like that? The gap was massive. How do you think it's going to play in that district when you have people from outside of the state rolling into the district and you're accusing Donald Trump of protecting pedophiles? How do you think that's going to work? Do you think they're going to receive that well? Do you think that they're going to be like, oh, you're right. You're right. Or do you think that maybe they're smart enough to know that you're just freaking gaslighting the shit out of them? How do you think that's going to work? This is a terrible.
Yeah,
idea.
no, this is going to
But-
backfire disastrously.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
Do
it's
it.
a terrible idea.
Have at it. Spend whatever little tiny political capital you think you have trying to back a candidate that ruined his own candidacy. You see, he didn't make a mistake at the end of a campaign. He made a mistake over an entire year, and you can't change that at this point. It's too late. The only thing he can do is just hope to God not enough people saw Cynthia West video. That's the only thing that he can do at this point.
And didn't the Marouk family or whoever that is support Thomas Massie's campaign? Also,
Yep.
didn't Care Florida endorse Thomas
They
Massie?
did. So
And
did the NIAC.
isn't Care Florida now designated or labeled by Florida a foreign terrorist organization?
That's right.
I
That's
mean,
right.
why are we concerned about AIPAC when we have actual foreign terrorist tied organizations supporting Thomas Massie?
I guarantee you, reasonable people in Kentucky don't care at all about AIPAC funding Al Gilrain's campaign. They don't care because they don't look at American Israelis or American Jews as the enemy.
And didn't that Jewish billionaire that they're referring to also donate to Thomas Massie's campaign by donating so many millions of dollars to a PAC? And then the Kentucky First PAC was started,
Yep.
and $1 million was transferred into that PAC. So isn't this Jewish billionaire supporting both candidates? Because
Yep.
that's what billionaires do, because whoever wins, they still have a horse in the race.
Yeah, that's right. Doxy Mommy, yes. Ed Gilrain is a career special forces patriot who was, if I understand it correctly, was basically the trainer of the special forces trainers. Highly decorated, spent an entire career in the military. I've listened to him talk. He's been on a couple shows. The guy is a patriot. He supports Donald Trump's America First agenda. He supports the effort to break the backs of the globalist imperialist. He supports Donald Trump's agenda in Venezuela and Iran and his Don Roe doctrine. He supports the Trump administration's agenda, the agenda that we voted for and that the people of that district voted for. And these idiot creators think they're going to be able to waltz in there with their self-important, bloviating crap propaganda slop about Trump being a pedophile protector. Go for it. Go ahead. Go right ahead.
I mean, listen, I think they lost the plot and they lost basically all credibility when she uttered the words pedophile protectors.
That's right.
Right.
It's over.
Done. It's over. It's over because we can actually watch like the statistics of what the FBI has been doing. In fact, we're going to tell you some of those things right now and who they're actually arresting, the child sex traffickers and the child molesters and all of those things. So we know who's actually arresting the pedophiles. In fact, I would even make the argument that if Thomas Massie and Marjorie Taylor Greene and Ro Khanna hadn't done what they'd done and then forced this transparency bill to be its way through Congress, which Trump signed, by the way, he could have vetoed the fucking thing. If they hadn't done it, you actually probably would have gotten more transparency than not. You see, because as PatriotDad mentioned, they are the ones who wrote the rules on exactly what was supposed to be redacted and what was not supposed to be redacted. If you'd allowed the DOJ, folks, do you have any idea how difficult it is to go through millions of documents, check them for classification, for national security incidents, go through, I don't know, thousands of hours of video, all of these things after you find them because they've been hidden from you by folks like Maureen Comey, James Comey's daughter over there in the Southern District of New York. If you'd have just left them alone, you'd have probably gotten more information than you did after they created the infrastructure that created the redactions that you then went on to complain about. You fucking did it.
That's
You
right.
did it.
And before we move on, and we're going to move on here in just a second, I want to make sure everyone understands exactly what Nam is talking about. I am fully confident in my perspective that Thomas Massie actually created the legal umbrella that forced the Trump administration to hide the names of many of the people that you were expecting to see in those releases. This is the actual text of the Transparency Act that they wrote. Like, they wrote this. They physically wrote this bill. They wrote it. And I want you to listen to what they did to tie the Trump administration's hands. It says the Attorney General may withhold or redact the segregable portions of records that, and it talks about personal identifying information. It talks about making sure you protect privacy. It says it forces redaction of things that depict or contain SA abuse materials or would jeopardize an active federal investigation or ongoing prosecution, or depicts or contains images of death, abuse, or injury. So any photographs that have faces of people who are engaged in that type of behavior are required to be redacted. Contain information specifically authorized under criteria established by an executive order to be kept secret in the interest of national defense or foreign policy and are in fact properly classified pursuant to such an executive order. They literally wrote into the bill the very redactions that many of the predators have been hiding under for decades. Like, I had somebody in my comments say, well, why was Les Wexner redacted? Didn't you just spend the last year telling me that Jeffrey Epstein was an agent of Mossad? And didn't Thomas Massie just write a bill that requires a redaction for people who are in the interest of national defense or foreign policy? What do you think that includes? Do you think that includes intelligence agencies and agents of those intelligence agencies? Who the hell do you think Les Wexner is? How do you become a billionaire? A Jewish billionaire who has ties directly back to the state of Israel and not be an agent of their intelligence agency.
Or at least an asset in some
Or at least
form.
an asset. Are you freaking kidding me? He wrote in the legislation the umbrella that protected these people and then spent the last year accusing the Trump administration of protecting the very people that his bill protected. This is why MAGA is pissed at Thomas Massie. Not because he wanted transparency, but because he wanted transparency and then he tied the hands of the Trump administration who were trying to give it to you.
Thank you, Family Crest.
Yeah, thank you. So we got a $20 Rumble rant from Family Crest, a P0. We love you. Absolutely love the show. Thanks for all the work, PD, Nom, SK, at Guarding the Grid, and MAGA Jake, the back office crew. Got some kudos too. Thanks, guys. Thank you, Family Crest.
All right, I'm done. Move on. Take it wherever
You're
you all want
done.
to take it. I'm moving to the back of the bus. I'm going to get my spitballs ready. I'm going to start preparing to throw them at you guys as we go.
Well, I don't know. SK, did you have anything that you want to talk about? We can just shut the show down.
No, we're not.
Go to bed. Go to bed.
We have China. We have tons of cases. We have that COVID hearing today. We have Pete Hegseth and Kash Patel destroying people in the hearings yesterday. So much has happened.
I think
do you guys have the Patty Murray video? Can we play that?
I do.
Because that's fun.
Yeah, I do. Well, so there's a theme, right? There's a theme to a lot of these things, and the theme is that the Democrat Party is nothing but a performance. It's a performative thing. I mean, literally everything they do is Kabuki Theater, right? It's meant only to entertain low IQ morons, and it works for a lot of low IQ morons. We could talk about what's going on down there in the legislature in Tennessee with the redistricting and all of those people. We know that the Tennessee legislature, I think the Senate president down there banned all Democrats from their committees for the remainder of this legislative session because they were engaged in insurrection in the Capitol building in the state of Tennessee. But it's racism. It's racism. But it's racism.
Can I answer
We
this question real
also
quick?
have the Tulsi Gabbard stuff because people are asking about the raid, and Anna Paulina Luna clarified that right as we were going live.
Yeah,
They
so
were definitely not reading it because of the Georgia ballots.
right.
So
So
Boggs
we'll
Chips,
listen.
real quick. I just want to answer this real quick, and then we'll move on. So, what was Obama doing in Canada meeting with Carney? So, what Obama was doing in Canada is trying to salvage what's left of the globalist imperialist system that Donald Trump has been collapsing. They are trying to create a framework from which they can, out of the ashes, revive the Obama network. And you're starting to see people like Alyssa Slotkin, Pete Buttigieg are going to be the ones that are going to lead the Obama mantle into the 2028 election cycle. I guarantee you, Alyssa Slotkin and Pete Buttigieg are going to be candidates, and they are going to be the Obama preferred ones. Obama is trying to rally the troops because they're losing everything. All right, I'm done. Go ahead.
Yeah, they are. Well, they're losing everything because we can watch them in their performances, and average sane people are like, what you're just stupid. Like, so the Patty Murray thing is a good example. Did you guys see what happened up there when Kash Patel, the director of the FBI, was testifying? And he was up there to talk about, like, all of the amazing crap that the FBI has done, because they have in fact broken just about every record on violent crime and policing that exists.
And
Where is this
rescuing
thing?
rescuing
rescuing
and
kids.
busting up all those CSAM people and abuse rings, and saving the
Yeah.
kids.
This is a performance, guys. This is Kabuki Theater, and they are horrible actors. Get a load of this crap, and then let's talk about it.
We need serious leadership at the FBI that the American people can trust. And I am deeply concerned about the reports that your leadership has not been serious. We need somebody at this agency who's focused on solving criminal cases, not passing out branded bourbon or jetting around the globe. Your job is to be reachable. And I know Senator Van Hollen asked you about this, but I gotta say, if you wanna pass out liquor or pop bottles in a locker room, stick to podcasting, leave law and order to people who really do care about justice and appearances. That is really critical. And it's what I am really deeply concerned about, and so are many people. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Can I respond? This is what real leadership looks like at the FBI. Every one of you was given it. This is what's happened under my tenure at the FBI and the Trump administration. 20-point drop in the homicide rate. 45,000 violent offenders arrested last year, twice as many as 2024. 2,450 criminal gangs disrupted. That's a 322% increase from 2024. 6,900 child victims have been located since I've been in the seat. That's a 144% increase. 2,900 child predators and human traffickers arrested. That's a 70% increase. And we've arrested 8 of the top 10 most wanted fugitives in the world in 14 months. That's twice as many in the 4 years combined. That is what the men and women of the FBI are doing, well-resourced. Everyone should take a look at this. If people want to continue the baseless, fraudulent, false personal attacks at me, that's great. Keep the target on me, as I've always said, but the mission has never been better.
Mr.
Who took that comment down? Can we put that comment back up?
Yeah, I put it back. It's good.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
Why does that woman look like a pancake? She looks like a pancake because she just got run over by Kash Patel. That's why. Who's going to tell these Democrats that they are not ready to spar with this man? They're not intellectually capable of keeping up with him.
Well, they're not, because they are transparent. They're transparent in the fact that
Transparently stupid.
they didn't come there to ask a single question about how did you actually do the things that you've done at the FBI to, I don't know, obliterate violent crime in Washington, D.C. and Memphis and a number of other the most crime-ridden cities in our entire country. How did you do that? What is the magic sauce that, because I know FBI's under, George Bush, under Barack Obama, under Bill Clinton, they couldn't figure any of this out. What did you guys do different? No, they didn't.
I know what they did.
Instead, they asked stupid questions and they challenged his leadership and refused to even read the statistics of what they've actually been doing at the FBI.
Here's what they did. Here's what they don't understand. You see, Nom, you asked the question, like, what did they do to be successful? This is the thing that Democrats will never understand. They think that attacking Kash Patel for handing out branded bottles of brandy and bottles of beer in the Olympic locker room is a bad thing. This is how Kash Patel is successful, because he understands how to be a man. He understands what it means to be a man. He understands how to build partnerships and relationships with people that he relies on to go out and do the hard work of being a man. And I know there's women at the FBI, but when you hand somebody a branded bottle of brandy and you say, hey, man, let's partner together to go out and solve crime, guess what? They help you because they want to.
But here's the irony in all of this. Isn't Nancy Pelosi one of the people responsible for having an actual liquor store in Congress?
Yes.
Okay. Just
Yeah.
making sure. But also, did you see the exchange between Kash Patel and Van Hollen where
Yeah.
Van Hollen said in your response to me earlier where you had a blow up, you made a couple provably false statements. Kash Patel said, so did you. Hey, Van Hollen said, do you know it's a crime to lie to Congress? Patel said, maybe the next time you run up a $7,000 bar tab, we can talk about it. Van Hollen said, see, you're lying again. I'm glad you agreed to take the test regarding whether you have alcohol problems. You are a disgrace. And Kash Patel immediately picked up his X account and posted the bar tab for $7,000. Where is it? Right here. For $7,128 at the lobby bar at 904 L Street, Northwest, Washington, catering for event. This was an event for 50 people, and the bar tab was $7,128. Can you tell me how much alcohol 50 people drink for $7,000? I'm having a wedding here in just a few days, and I can tell you it is not $7,100 and however $28 for 50 people.
The people in DC are drunk.
$142
So
per person. $142 per.
I could get a
person.
case of Miller Lite for $24. Okay. A case of Miller Lite, and I can't even drink it in one day. Maybe two. I can definitely do it in two, but not
I think
one
we
day.
need to demand alcoholic tests on all 50 of those people that showed up and drank $142 per person worth of alcohol.
Better idea. Why don't we have an alcoholic test for everybody in Congress, and let's see who fails and who passes.
And remember, Mark Wayne Mullen during the confirmation hearings in 2025 called out Congress, all of them, telling them when they were giving Pete Hegseth a hard time and talking about him coming back from war and having been out at a couple bars with his buddies and drinking, which, I mean, come on, how are you going to find like a man that came back from war and went through all this shit and hadn't been to a bar drinking with his buddies? That doesn't exist, I don't think. But hold on. Mark Wayne Mullen called them all out. Mark Wayne Mullen was like, you know that you have colleagues right here in this chamber that have shown up here drunk to vote on legislation.
So here's the question. Is Mark Van Hollen, is that his name? What's his name? Van Hollen? Chris Van Hollen? Is Chris Van Hollen drunk in the Senate right now? Because the last thing that you want to do when you're accusing somebody of something is to accuse them of the very thing that you're guilty of. You don't want to do that because that's destined to boomerang and smack you in the face. Isn't Chris Van Hollen the same idiot that went down to El Salvador and sat down across the table drinking alcoholic margaritas with that gangbanger MS-13 guy? Whatever. What was his name? The guy that was sent down there?
Abrigo Garcia.
Abrigo Garcia. Isn't that Van Hollen who had photographs taken of himself drinking a margarita with a actual MS-13 gang member?
Yes.
Isn't that him? These people are stupid.
That's him. Flew on the taxpayer dollar to El Salvador.
They're stupid.
For a gang banging, wife beating, human trafficking rapist, allegedly. Kash Patel's words too, by the way. Flew down there, taxpayer dollar, to go have margaritas with that guy and get him brought back to the United States for him just to be ordered to be deported again.
Unbelievable. Patriot Vicky, thank you so much for joining. We see that you went back and listened. She says, thank you for all your prayers. My husband had an aggressive small cell bladder cancer, and it's in the liver, lymph nodes, pelvic bone, and a spot in the brain. I know you weren't here when we prayed live, but the good news is that doesn't matter. You don't actually have to be here to get the full benefit of prayer, because that's just how it works. So we're glad you're here. Thank you very much for joining us.
That's horrible. I don't even know if I want to keep going with this Kabuki Theater, but there's a lot of Kabuki Theater going on.
We need to
in
keep
Democrat
going. She came here
All
to
right.
be entertained by Kabuki Theater.
Okay,
So.
I've got some Kabuki Theater for you.
Let's help distract her.
Yeah, cool. Give me 10 more minutes, SK, then we can talk about China and Tulsi Gabbard and all that other fun stuff. Because this just gets in my crawl, right? It just gets in my absolute crawl. Do you guys remember last week how all the Democrats were melting down, that black representation was being destroyed? It was Jim Crow 2.0 in Tennessee. Even though, Memphis is there, as that district is actually being carved up so that maybe they can actually get a black woman to represent them instead of a white plantation manager. Chris, what's that dude's name down there? That white pasty looking dude who gravy sweats. Memphis's, what was his name?
Steve
I don't
Cohen.
remember.
Steve Cohen.
Steve Cohen looks like he looks like he operates a mortuary, and he is their representation down there. But anyway, did you guys see this? I did a video on this, and I don't know if we ever actually played it on this. So the one state representative, Justin J. Pearson, right, is really, really upset. I mean, he's a state representative, but he's complaining about black representation in Memphis at the federal level, even though they're represented by a white, pasty, gravy sweating, mortuary looking guy. And did you see him getting tough with the state police in the Tennessee Capitol building? Did you guys see this?
I saw a very well disciplined state law enforcement officer.
What is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? You stupid mother.
So you got to give that law enforcement officer some incredible credit for maintaining his bearing and not bending that little twerp in half and snapping him like a twig.
In half. Now, do you think, just in the spirit of Kabuki Theater, do you think Justin J. Pearson is actually a tough individual? Do you think he's tough? No? You don't think he's tough?
No.
Do you think that he's playing a part? He's playing a role in a play.
Yeah, it's right here.
I think
here's the role. Here's the role he's playing from The Amazing Torah. I want to be Martin Luther King Jr.
Actually, I think he probably wants to be Malcolm X.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think Martin Luther King was much more classy than that.
Yeah. Well, so listen, we've got some more evidence of the type of person that Justin J. Pearson truly is. And so I didn't grab this video. I'm going to play it straight from my, where are you? I'm going to play it straight from an X account here. Can you guys see this video I'm getting ready to play? Oh, you're
going to have to make it bigger. Can you?
Yeah, no, I will. Hold on a second. Hold on. I got to make sure that I turn on the audio. Yes. Also share the audio. We're going to do this. We're going to share. Are you in full screen now?
Yes, we're in full screen now.
This is Justin J. Pearson, right? And he's in a church somewhere down in Memphis. And this is the guy. This is the tough Malcolm X guy.
That looked an awful lot like something called the Kundalini spirit. You guys know what the Kundalini spirit is? Kundalini spirit is a spirit that mocks the Holy Spirit. And what it does is it gets inside of people and it causes them to flail around like maniacs. That's what that looked like. A Kundalini spirit.
Did you see 49 Holdings comment? They said looks more like Malcolm in the Middle than Malcolm X.
You know what? You're not far off, because we actually, the internet's forever, folks, right? This is how I know that this is all a performance. So all of the outrage about black representation and and Jim Crow 2.0 and Martin Luther King and Malcolm X and everything that these people that they want you to believe is happening. Do you know who this guy really is? This is the same story as like Jasmine Crockett. This is him.
Is he really
I'm running for
Carlton
president
Banks
of
from Fresh
BSG.
Prince?
There are a few reasons that we're running this campaign this year. One has to do with representation. How can we represent all voices in a conversation? I wanted to do this by partnering with organizations from the voting Democrats to the voting Republicans. I want to bring together different voices, dissenting voices, voices that may be more liberal or more conservative, in order that we can reach a point of sort of the radical middle.
Here, you've had 3 strikes laws, mass incarceration, denied us of who we are, and we are still here. And today, you'll take the only majority black district from us. But I want you to know, and I want my nephew, sons, and the future to know, no matter what you do.
All right, shut up. You're acting. You're play acting. You're not even a good actor, dude. That's not even. I mean.
So he did go from Carlton Banks on Fresh Prince to
he is still
Malcolm
Carlton
X
Banks. He's playing a role. He's still Carlton Banks. He just grew out an afro. I'm surprised we didn't see a pick stuck in it. He grew out an afro, and he pretends he's Malcolm X. That's the role he's playing, and that's going on all over the country. This is just what the Democrat Party is.
And he still would have got snapped in half by that law enforcement officer had he chosen to. Snapped in half,
100%,
like a twig, like a bug, just. Squish.
But they exist. The Democrat Party exists solely because stupid people want to be lied to, and the media helps them lie. I mean, without it, if the media would just tell the truth about who these people are and the results of the wonderful ideas that they have, what they actually result in, the Democrat Party wouldn't have existed for the last 30 years. Anyway,
You guys, Anne Marie 103 says someday he'll be shaking a cane at the State of the Union.
No, he ain't going to make it that far, because here's what's going to happen. You're going to start to see these black conservatives actually get elected in districts where they had been gerrymandered out of. And the black community is going to see, holy crap, we don't have to live in abject poverty anymore, because we have people that actually want to represent us and don't want to represent the progressive communist ideas of a failed ideology. Right. Because they're going to see that when I vote for people who actually care about results, they're going to want more of those results.
They are. And that's the problem, that these majority minority districts, which is, basically most blue cities, these strongholds where the population centers for minorities exist, they've never even been given the option, because of gerrymandered majority minority districts, to see how a black conservative would actually help them get out of the. But you guys realize that we actually have like evidence of black conservatives and how they govern and the results of how they govern. We got Wesley Hunt over there in Texas. You got Tim Scott in South Carolina. By the way, Democrats, it's probably worth mentioning that there are plenty of black Republicans. So I don't know how you think you're going to make this race. And by the way, I have heard the shit you say to black Republicans, the black conservatives. I've heard how you speak to them. Yeah, you white liberals. Racist. I have heard what you say to them. It is some of the most racist shit I've ever heard in my life. So listen, I don't even care about being lectured by you guys. At this point, I'm just pointing and laughing at your horribly performed Kabuki Theater. It's not working anymore.
Wesley Hunt, if you guys haven't heard it, you should look it up. There's clips of Wesley Hunt just yesterday. I think it was yesterday, talking about the Jim Crow and how the Democrats continue referencing Jim Crow and how Jim Crow's making a comeback. And he's like, I'm a black man from Texas, from a majority white district. They elected me. Talk to me about Jim Crow. And then,
he's also an actual descendant of a slave. He's traced
his great grandfather was born on a plantation. And
right.
he's like,
and it was probably a plantation owned by a Democrat, by the way.
Yes. And he's like, and I'm sitting in Congress from a majority white district in Texas. Talk to me about how Jim Crow is alive and well.
Yeah. Do we have that? I know you sent it out earlier. Do we not have that?
I think I did. I know I watched it on TV and I've seen it on X. It's all over the place. You can probably just put Wesley Hunt. It's probably the first thing that pops up.
That's all right.
He did a great job. And then there's another post I saw. It could have even been from him, but it was from another Republican, Black Republican, that was talking about, I did an experiment. I went and sat at the bar, at the restaurant, and the nice man behind the counter walked over and gave me a menu and asked what he could get me. And he was like, I was just doing an experiment, and walked out. That failed. I got on the bus and, sat in the front of the bus, and he was like, nobody said anything to me. I mean, like, he went through all the things.
Yep. So I got it. Hold on. Here's Wesley Hunt.
I'm seeing a lot of talk from my colleagues on the left too, as we shift toward this reinvigorated talk about Jim Crow and the past of this country. And as someone who is a direct descendant of a slave, as someone whose great-great-grandfather was born on a plantation, I can assure you slavery is over. Jim Crow is dead. When I go anywhere, I don't see any white-only signs. I don't, I promise you. I am a black man that represents a white majority district in Texas. The great-great-grandson of a man born on a plantation stands before you today as a proud conservative Republican from Texas, as a believer and follower in Christ, and as a believer in what this country can be if we allow equality for not just Muslim Americans, not just Buddhist Americans, but also Christian Americans like yourself. God bless you, young man. You give me a lot of hope for the future of this country. Thank you for having the courage to yield back the remainder of my time.
That hearing was great. There were kids in there that were talking to them about this religion stuff, and one of these kids dog walked one of the Democrats. I mean,
yeah, I saw that. Yeah. It was Jamie Raskin. Jamie Raskin started yelling at him.
He got dog walked. Jamie Raskin kept cutting the kid off. The kid absolutely dog walked him. I mean, like with precision.
It's because, listen, we've talked about this before. None of these people actually believe the things that they, I mean, some of them do. Some of the really radical ones, they believe this stuff, but most of them are just performing. They're reading what's put in front of them. They don't even know what it means. That's how you can have, frankly, someone like Barack Obama, because this has been flying all over the internet today too, in 2020, coming out and basically saying that we have to blow away the filibuster, right? We've got to blow away the filibuster. You've got to get representation for Washington, D.C., all the things. And now what do you have the Democrats saying? In fact, Barack Obama actually called the filibuster a relic of Jim Crow, right? A relic of a relic of not civil rights, but of slavery. He called it that in 2020, and now Barack Obama is out there today saying that it is racist to blow away the filibuster.
And you guys,
it's the exact opposite argument.
When they're talking to Democrats, they tell the Democrats, as soon as we get majority, we're going to blow up the filibuster and we're going to jam as much legislation through as we can. Hakeem Jeffries stood at a podium today and said, look at how much legislation we're blocking of the Republicans. Imagine what we're going to do with a Democrat majority.
That's right.
Yeah. So that's mine. I mean, so now we know that, all the Democrats in the Senate, by the way, that Justin J. Pearson, there's a photo of him and someone's like, oh, that journalist or that photojournalist is going to win a Pulitzer for that, where he's standing nose to nose against the sergeant in front of the sergeant at arms, staring him down because he's in the civil rights battle of his life to preserve the congressional district that's lorded over by a pasty white gravy sweating Steve Cohen. Justin Pearson is not even in the Senate. He's not even on the committee that he was trying to break into the room to disrupt. So yeah, guys, it was an insurrection, and now they're big mad that they got kicked off their committee. So I actually don't feel anything for them. Fuck off. That's all I got. You're up, SK.
K Pasto is going to bed. K Pasto said good night. K Pasto contacted me. I'm going on Paramount Tactical on the 26th. Where are we going? What are we talking about? What are we doing?
What do we got left in here? We got
videos. I'm looking up this stuff on DNI on Tulsi Gabbard, because earlier today we heard that the CIA had raided the DNI and taken 40 boxes of documentation that was allegedly supposed to contain a bunch of records that the CIA had told people didn't exist, right, on MK Ultra and all that other kind of stuff. Paulina gets in the act and just throwing a temper tantrum. And even I think she even, if I'm not mistaken, I think she said she was going to file a piece of legislation on this issue.
A subpoena.
Yeah, subpoena to get those boxes back. Well, now we're starting to hear that maybe it didn't happen because the spokesperson of the DNI has like no raid took place.
Well,
so we don't know what happened.
What they're saying is it wasn't a raid. What happened is that documents that were under the not supervision, but under the control, basically.
Jurisdiction.
Jurisdiction over the documents. So it took documents that ODNI has jurisdiction over. It did not happen today, and it was not a raid. However, it did take place, and we are just being made aware of it based on reporting, etc. So they're sending what she says in the video clip. I put a video clip in there. It's labeled Anna, so it's right at the top because it's labeled Anna Paulina Luna. You can pick either one because both of them have there's one that's the clip of her actual interview with the chick in the purple, but the other one's Jesse Waters playing that clip and just adding a tiny bit of commentary.
We'll do Jesse Waters. I've got it whenever you're ready.
Yeah, you can do it. That's it.
Okay. It's coming. We push the button. Oh, please don't. Please tell me you're going to come up. PatriotDad, you may have to bring this up. It's Anna Paulina, Jesse Waters.
The CIA just raided Tulsi Gabbard's office. Agents hauled out dozens of boxes, files on the JFK assassination and MK Ultra, the CIA mind control operation, which she was in the process of declassifying. Today's whistleblower said it during his deposition, and Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna confirmed it moments ago.
The reason why this is troubling is, A, there was an executive order that the president had directed the full declassification of JFK, but then also to the MK Ultra files. The CIA famously has said that, all documents were released and other documents had been destroyed. So these are allegedly those documents that apparently never existed.
Can the CIA overrule the president?
I mean, they did entire stories on this, segments on this. CIA whistleblower testified that the CIA took back or seized 40 boxes of files related to Documents were reportedly in DNI custody or being handled there for release. The action is framed by some as the CIA raiding or defying ODNI to block transparency. And then it's funny because I asked Grok, and Grok's like, I don't see any direct statement from the spokesperson of the DNI, which I did. Flat out said no raid occurred. I don't know. Well, I don't know. What's going on with this story? Does anyone know?
Well, I can tell you. So they were supposed to be having a hearing on MK Ultra, and Anna Paulina Luna is on that committee for the declassification of JFK, MLK, MK Ultra, all those things. So the hearing for MK Ultra had to be postponed because witnesses started backing out. They're getting scared. And so they had to reschedule it. And when they're going to find these documents, because Tulsi Gabbard was in the middle of declassifying these MK Ultra documents, they don't have them anymore. They're missing. So it didn't just happen today, but the committee is just finding out about it. So she says later on, and maybe it was in that clip, I wasn't really paying attention, but in the interview, she says that they're going to be sending a letter.
Not a letter, not a strongly worded letter. Oh no.
So they are going to be sending something. Let me pull that tweet up as well.
While you're looking, so we do have a good sort of pause that we can do. So we've got a Rumble rant over here, a $20 Rumble rant. I don't know, Jake, if you can grab this and so we can put it over, but if not, I'll read it. From Moonlight Rider. Never seen Moonlight Rider before. Thank you. Moonlight Rider over on Rumble says, I found your podcast a few weeks ago and I just wanted to show a little support. I appreciate you guys and all of the research you do. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. That's the feedback we love to hear. Thank you very much.
Yes, we love
so
it.
it is
Thanks
a
very much.
subpoena. She said the CIA has 24 hours to return the documents to Tulsi Gabbard's office, or else I will make a motion to issue a subpoena. These documents have been requested by Congress.
Why do we have stuff in here of AOC?
And they sent a preservation notice. They did send a preservation notice to the CIA because there's history of documents going missing and them never being able to get them back.
Shocker. Shocker. You mean like all of the documents that people thought were going to be included in the Epstein files that were going to incriminate all of the people who were best friends with the folks who had control over the Epstein files for 2 decades? Those types of documents that just vanish into thin air?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But
So
40 boxes of JFK and MK Ultra files that were being processed by the ODNI.
I want to know how the CIA just waltzed into
because
Tulsi
the
Gabbard's
CIA
office.
is above the law, you guys. They're out. They have no control. The CIA thinks they can do whatever they want to do. I can't stand the CIA. I'm sorry. I can't stand the CIA. And crazy thing is, ODNI, Tulsi Gabbard is over the CIA. The CIA office is under the purview of ODNI.
No, I mean not necessarily. I mean that's John Radcliffe. He's the director. She has oversight over the intelligence and how it gets put together in the presidential daily briefings and intelligence assessments and things like that. But she has no control over the operations of the CIA. In fact, it sounds like
not
nobody
the
does.
operations. Yeah, nobody does, and that's how they're operating on U.S. soil. Allegedly, maybe, possibly. Also, I really love my life, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm not suicidal. So you asked why do we have AOC stuff in here? Because that was part of the Kabuki Theater. We can play it. It's just AOC being stupid again. But let's play it because I want to rip her horse face off too because this woman is absolutely fucking insufferable. All right, AOC.
Absolutely not.
And Congressman, just your reaction to the Virginia Supreme Court overturning the maps in Virginia for Democrats. Do you think Democrats at large are losing this redistricting battle? We just saw Missouri with favoring Republican maps.
You know, I think I can't really comment on kind of winning or losing this larger thing. I think overall the American people are losing when it comes to the country backsliding into redistricting that is very clearly driven by racial disenfranchisement. I think we all lose when that happens. Now, when it comes to Virginia, I think what is extremely disturbing about what has happened in Virginia is less about what's, you know, it's one thing to talk about.
Say something.
It's another thing that this court went in and overturned the will of 3 million Virginians.
Pause. What's the problem with that? Because I've seen this all over the place. What's the problem with that? Overturned the will of 3 million Virginians. Anybody know what the problem with that is?
I do. A whole bunch of 3 million Virginians didn't vote for that.
No,
actually, 3 million Virginians voted for the constitutional amendment, which defines the process by which they're supposed to, you know, redistrict. And that is in fact the will of the voters that was violated when they decided to violate their constitution.
Right. So what actually happened was 1.6 million voters cast illegal votes in favor of violating the actual the state constitution. 1.5 million, by the way, said no. So it's not like it was, some massive blowout where 3 million people are like, yes, we need to redistrict. It was razor thin margin. But here's the kicker. This is my favorite part about this. An illegal election is illegal. It doesn't matter how many people voted for it. I mean, it was just illegal. And then she goes on and she complains bigly that the Supreme Court of Virginia, they did nothing to stop it. If they thought that it was going to be illegal or they were violating the process, the Virginia Supreme Court could have stepped in. No.
How the hell are you going to invalidate a vote that doesn't actually happen?
Well, in fact, the Democrats, because there were challenges that occurred prior to this, the Democrats in Virginia said the Supreme Court had no jurisdiction until the vote had happened, which is true. And now they want to then say that the Virginia Supreme Court should have stepped in and told them that, hey, this is not the right way to do this. Even though the governor's office told them that it wasn't the right way to do this and it wouldn't survive review. Guys, this is all terribly choreographed Kabuki Theater.
Is there more?
All
Is
of
there
it.
more AOC word salad to come?
No.
No. Well,
No,
there's
let's
half a video. I don't know what the rest of it says. I
Well,
stopped
Okay.
listening at
Well,
that point.
hold on. I need to show AOC something real quick. Can you take that down? Because she said that she can't really comment on who's winning. She's like, I can't really comment on whether or not Democrats or Republicans are winning. Well, good news for you, AOC. I can, because we have it right here. We actually have a tally of who's winning and who's losing. And I understand why you don't want to comment.
This image is not actually correct.
Why?
Because where it says called a special session.
Well, this is a little older. This is
because
a little outdated.
as of today, Georgia's Governor Brian Kemp has called a special session, not only to redistrict, but also to change election laws to paper ballots and all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
And South Carolina's governor is overriding the South Carolina Senate with all the, I think, 7 or 9 rhinos in the South Carolina Senate who said we're not going to redistrict. The governor is now calling a special session in South Carolina as well.
So you mean to tell me that the score just got even worse for them?
Way worse.
Okay.
Now, SK, we got to stop talking over SK. She's got shit to say. And the people like
No.
what she does.
Well, I like put some funny stuff in here in order so we can talk about something serious and then have something funny behind it. So pull up Trump v. Obama, China welcome.
Oh God. Are we done with all those things? Okay.
Yeah.
Trump v. Obama, China. This
China
is guys, we don't
welcome.
have we don't have a lot on China because nothing's
do.
happened on China yet. But SK's got
Well,
some
there was
funnies.
a whole
Let's do some
hearing and
funnies.
they were like rolling their eyes and everything, or not hearing, but meeting. It was kind of
Mhm.
not great. I'm kind of worried, but we'll see.
Who was rolling their eyes? The Chinese were?
Well, kind of everybody. I think they're
Mhm.
all. Trump is doing his Trump thing. If he's complimenting you publicly like that, you should probably watch your back.
Yeah. Well,
Right.
Here's the bottom line, folks. Anything and everything that comes out of this meeting has already been signed, sealed, and delivered long before Trump ever got on a plane to go there.
Right. And
So
I think
this
they're
is
in
all
that
just
meeting now.
pomp and circumstance.
Yeah.
They've already
Alright.
determined everything.
But go ahead and pull up Trump v. Obama, China welcome.
All right, we're coming up now. Maybe. Sometimes it takes a minute to upload, depending on how big the folder is. This is why we need to bring this stuff up into the green room beforehand. But we just got so much stuff, so much content. It's still
take that
trying,
as
so I'm
off.
just trying. Oh, it won't let me bring it up. PatriotDad, you're gonna have to bring it up.
Ah, for heaven's sakes.
Trump
All
v.
right, I'll try.
v. Obama. You're gonna have to bring it up for some reason. It's not.
Oh, I'm in the wrong folder. Hold on, let me get to the right folder. There we go. Trump v. Obama. There it is. I got it. Is it going to work? It's probably not going to
I
work.
don't know. Massie Epstein. We're getting rid of all this stuff here. We don't need all of this.
I screen
We'll move on.
recorded it with my volume up and everything.
It's not playing.
And every
Oh, here we go.
video choreographed. It shows they care. And look at who greeted the president, the second most powerful man in China, the vice president, Han Zheng. It's kind of big. The United States coming to town clearly has an impact. So China wanted to make the effort, and they did. Now, compare that to what we saw under the last 2 administrations. Not good. President Biden's defense secretary, for example, Lloyd Austin, could not get his counterpart on the phone from Beijing for a year and a half. And Secretary of State Blinken, remember, he was in Alaska. He got publicly dressed down by Chinese officials in his first year in office. And then there was President Obama's last year in office, his arrival to the G20 summit. Look at this.
As he stepped off Air Force One, the red carpeted stairs were missing, forcing President Obama to use an alternate exit typically reserved for war zones. On the tarmac, a Chinese minder tried to block U.S. press access, screaming at a White House aide, "This is our country, this is our airport." Then he yelled at National Security Advisor Susan Rice and tried to prevent her from entering the president's motorcade. The Secret Service had to intervene.
Little different greeting now, right? It was pretty clear. Beijing did not take them seriously. I don't care who you voted for. That's just a fact. With President Trump, they're sending a different signal. But don't be fooled by the pomp, by the circumstance. We cannot forget who we're dealing with. A regime responsible for a plethora of human rights abuses. They unleash COVID on the world and never owned up to it. They steal intellectual property as we speak.
So the moral of the story here, folks, is nothing in these encounters happens on accident. So the way that Biden's administration, Blinken and Lloyd Austin, the way they were treated was well scripted, just like the way Obama was treated, and the way Trump is being treated is as scripted as it gets. For a reason.
Do you guys understand how do you guys understand the position that the Trump administration has backed China into? Do you understand the depths of the trouble that China is in right now? I mean, we talked about how the Trump administration, through their national security strategy, has basically grabbed every one of the economic chokeholds around the world. All of the straits, particularly the strait that China relies on, 2 of them, to get energy to their country, we now have security control over. Not only that, China does almost nothing to produce their own energy. They can't create enough food to feed their people. They are in the middle of a death spiral in terms of population because of this stupid 1 child per family policy that they have. China is in very real trouble. And the Trump administration, is my opinion, they are there to actually save China from collapse. And China had damn well better play ball, or they're in trouble. They can't sustain themselves.
Yeah.
They can't do it.
So I think one of the main things, one of the main goals that's good that I think they have going into this is, listen, we've had stupid, horrible leaders in our country and, frankly, around the world who have opened our markets to China. They've undercut us. They've stolen our jobs. They've stolen our technology, stolen our intellectual property. They've tried to recreate it and sell it back to us at pennies on the dollar, but they have never opened their markets to us. I think Trump's going to go over there and be like, nah, listen, folks, listen, we are going to have the same access to your markets that you're going to have to ours, right? I mean, that's, I think, one of the main things that's going to come out of it. The second thing that's going to come out of this is China. You are going to get Iran to knock this shit off, give up the uranium, open the Straits of Hormuz, because it turns out China relies on the Straits of Hormuz way more than we do.
Yeah,
like by a lot.
Way more.
And
It's
other
tough for me at
straits
11:50
that we took
at night.
control over it as
It's
well.
me
Say what?
because I didn't get this screen recorded and put in there, and I want you to pull this up because then I have something else to go in order afterwards.
All right,
can't
give me a
pull it up.
second.
No, I'm
I
sorry.
will pull it up. Hold on. I will get it.
You can just
So-
pull up the link and just put it up there.
Well, I'm going to. Full circle. Is this Marco?
Yeah.
Okay. Give me back here. We're gonna pull them up on the screen.
Hey, so I did a video over on you, or I guess released it right before we started. And I was talking about how Thomas Massie and his Epstein Transparency Act created the legal umbrella that required the DOJ to redact the names of the pedophiles. And I walked through all of the language in there. Let me ask you a question. Like, how dumb do you have to be to respond to a video that shows you in the actual text of the bill with something that says, you're full of shit? Like, my response to them is, did he write the bill or not? Because you can't argue that it's not in there. I guess the question that now they're trying to argue is, well, he didn't write the bill. Then who wrote it? Who wrote the bill? Did somebody else write the bill?
Well, probably. I mean, he didn't write the bill. His staff
Kyle,
probably
you're
wrote it.
late,
He didn't
bro.
know that
We're
was in
almost
it.
done.
He didn't. Yeah, Kyle. Hey, yeah, your podcast.
But
Our
we're
podcast
just
started an hour
getting
and
to
48.
the good stuff. We're just
We are.
getting to the good stuff.
Just getting to. Is this what you wanted to see right here, SK?
Yes, the White House
right,
official
all
White
right.
House account.
All right, I will turn it on and play.
And now you don't know. Now you know.
Sicker than your average. I'm a twist cabbage on big stick. Don't think shit stink. Big gators.
And now you don't know.
So
And we just got demonetized.
no, it was 2 seconds.
It doesn't matter.
We will get demonetized.
Seriously,
So, folks,
that's
we're going to
the
have to
official
cut
White
that
House
out of
account.
the show. Nom's going to have to come back
That
tomorrow
sucks.
and
Okay.
carve that out.
Okay, so Marco Rubio wore the tracksuit that Maduro was wearing when he was arrested in all of those photos. He wore it on the plane to China. It gets better. Okay, it gets better. So there's a video clip of China because remember, Marco Rubio got sanctioned. He wasn't allowed to go to China. He wasn't allowed to enter the country of China. He was sanctioned. And China isn't exactly the type of people that will be like, are bad. We'll just go ahead and take your name off. But Marco Rubio is sitting at that table in China. So there's a clip in there called Marco Rubio China sanction. If you put that up there, they explain exactly how they made that happen because they just changed Marco Rubio's name. So he has a different name while he's in China.
It doesn't
All right,
tell
let's
you
see.
what
Let's
his
see if
name
I
is?
can get this to load.
What's it called?
That Marco Rubio is there on the plane with him, and
In
he
the
was dressed in the tracksuit. But the best part about Rubio is actually that Rubio is sanctioned by the Chinese. So in 2020, Rubio was on the right side of the Hong Kong issue. He supported the Hong Kongers. He's been consistently one of the most critical of the Chinese Communist Party.
That's good.
And along with Ted Cruz, he was sanctioned. So he's not allowed to go to China. His assets, he didn't have any, were frozen in China. It was kind of like political theater to make a point. And what the Chinese did this time. So Rubio's name in Chinese is Lu Biao, okay, which sounds, you know, like that. Hey, remember that Asiana Airlines thing when someone does the out low, we too low outing bang? Okay, never mind. Okay. But it sounds like that. Okay. But instead of keeping the sanctions or like rescinding the sanctions, what they did was just change Rubio's name in Chinese so that, oh, now the sanctions don't apply, right? So instead of Lu Biao, they just changed the character of Lu so that it's like, oh, it's a different guy coming in. Right?
Why would they do that?
Because it is a culture which cannot admit any political errors, right? It's to save face. Like, because to actually reverse the sanctions would be to admit, oh, we kind of did something that is, you know, a mistake, an error.
So what'd they change it to? I want to know what they changed it to.
I'll show you. I'll show you. Pull up Marco Rubio, China Sanction 2.
Is it a video or an image?
No, it's an image.
Okay. Marco Rubio.
Oh, yeah. It's an image. China Sanction 2.
Okay. Here we go. Is that it? Hello, my name is.
They just crossed it out. Okay. There's another one. Pull up Marco Rubio funny.
We need to do more of these SK
3.
funnies.
Do Marco Rubio funny 3. The funny 2 we've kind of already done. It's just the tracksuits and they're all different colors and it's like JD Vance and Trump and Marco Rubio.
Hold on real quick. We got to answer a question because we got to
do that while I'm looking at. I don't see Marco Rubio.
Smiles. This is my first time watching. Thank you so much for joining us. Are you two twins? Yes. Yes, we're twins. Yes.
It's Marco Rubio funny 3.
It's a video. It's not an image. I need to know.
Nam is not some impersonator who's missing a part of a tooth that's pretending to be PatriotDad. He's actually his own separate individual person.
I'm not missing part of a tooth, folks. I need to tell the story. I don't think.
Yeah, you need to tell the story.
I need to tell the story. So,
hold on. Before you do, I want to make you big so I can clip this so I can show it later. All right, are you ready? Go tell the story.
The reason I have a gap in my bottom teeth is because I was actually born without an adult tooth underneath it there, right? So PatriotDad and I went through absolute hell, horror with dentists and orthodontists growing up. Our teeth were horrifying. Torture. No, I'm sorry. I was missing 2 teeth. PatriotDad was missing 1. They literally didn't exist. So as I was growing up, I had a.
We also don't have wisdom teeth, by the way.
Yeah, we don't have wisdom teeth either.
Never came
so as I was growing up and getting older, I just had a baby tooth that was there. It just never went away. And as I was getting out of the Marine Corps in 2006, you got to go to get medical and get checked up and all this stuff for VA benefits. And they're like, "Do you want us to take that thing out?" And I'm like, "Well, what will you do with it?" They're like, "I don't know. We'll just leave it, or I don't know. We'll have to maybe, I don't know. We move, like put you back in braces and move your entire mouth together."
Not doing that again.
I said, "I don't want to go through any of that crap. Just leave it. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother my wife. I don't care." And I did, and they left it. And it was just there. And I had a baby tooth there until I was like 47 years old. And I woke up one morning, that thing fell out. And it is what it is. And I'm not going back into braces. I don't care about it. Everybody else seems to give more care about it more than I do. I don't care. That's why. So that's why I have a gap in my bottom tooth, because at 47 years old, my baby tooth fell out.
Anyway, so he is his own individual person. He doesn't have a half a tooth. His baby tooth fell out at age 47.
At 47, that's right.
47.
All right, Marco Rubio, funny. Here we go.
Funny 3.
Funny 3. It is a video.
Wait a second. Hold on a second. Wait.
Remove.
Family crest, no wisdom teeth. That tracks. That is an insult. That's an insult. I am offended by that.
Why?
Because Family crest is saying that no wisdom, that tracks. No wisdom teeth. That's an insult. All right, keep going.
I didn't have to do one. That it's fine. All right, here we go. Marco Rubio. No, jeez.
So he got in, and that's how he
We're definitely
All right,
getting
we got it.
demonetized.
Yeah, we
I
got
think
it.
that
We
no,
got
no,
it.
no. That they changed that. That's AI.
There's no
that
audio.
changed.
There's no actual lyrics in that. Okay, good
Okay.
to go.
All right.
What
and
else you got
then-
for us?
Okay. So now pull up Trump China.
Video or image?
It's a video. And
Trump
it's funny.
China.
It is freaking
The reason I have to
hilarious.
ask you if it is a video or an image is because it's a different selection.
Oh.
Trump, yeah, it's a different
Yeah, I
selection.
don't know
I
what
have
it
to pick
looks like
image
on
or
your
video.
side. I have no
Yeah,
idea
yeah.
what it looks like on your side.
Yeah, it's select image file or select video file.
Good news, Nom. Sav's smile says,
You are,
she didn't even
my
notice
dear
this-
Chinese amigos. Your favorite president is here in China. I'm here to meet with your lovely dictator Xi, great friend of mine, a bit of a party pooper. I told him he was the Kung Flu Panda one time, and he didn't even smile. And when I ask him for McDonald's and a Diet Coke, he offers me tea and friggin' sushi. Or whatever it is you guys eat here in China. Probably dogs, like Somalis in Ohio. Anyway, thank you for inviting me to your lovely country. Remember to keep spraying Lysol in Wuhan. We don't want another fake virus to come from China. Anyway, arigato, bitches.
They got those Japanese. That's Japanese. It's hilarious.
Well, Mac and Jake has the most important question of the night.
Yeah.
The most important.
Yeah.
Are we really just going to gloss over the missing part of his finger?
Do you guys want to see it? I can take this thing off. You want to see it? You want to bring it up close to the camera?
Is it healed? Is it better? Is
No.
it like
No,
grotesque?
it's still pretty gruesome. I mean,
I don't wanna
it's
see
a
it.
big giant black scab with some stitches and stuff hanging out of it. But yeah, this thing just slides off now. I have to wear the splint because as many people as you may know, obviously I cut the tendon that goes all the way up here in the front and back, so they had to attach it a little bit lower, and they just want to make sure that that tendon's going to stay there, because if the tendon doesn't, it starts to recede and everything goes bad, then the rest of the tendons in your hand are actually, they're kind of all intertwined, and then I can actually start to lose functionality of my hand if this tendon doesn't heal properly. So that's the only reason I'm still wearing
Okay.
this.
Do you have to do like physical whatever? Do you have to like go in and like
Not yet. I mean,
hands
it'll
and
heal. I mean,
exercise it?
these orthos are pretty good at reconnecting that stuff, but Boggs, who was it? Boggs Chips.
Boggs
How did I cut it? Table saw.
Table saw.
I cut it off with a table saw. That's how I
Exactly like you would expect a man's man to cut his finger off with a table saw.
Unsupervised.
Unsupervised.
Mrs. Nom has to supervise from here on out. He's not allowed to operate power tools on his own unsupervised.
Yep.
Well, that's not entirely true, because I still have power tools I got to use. I mean,
I told you
circular
you
saw.
can't do
I gotta
it
get that table saw
unsupervised.
back out this weekend, so it just is what it is.
Hey, get yourself a little guide iron, like something that you use.
I
to
have one.
push
That's
things
not
with,
how
a
it happened.
pusher.
I have it. That's not how it happened. It had nothing to do with that. It's what was going on the back side of the thing. But here's the problem, right? I'm not going to say it. I'll tell you guys in private. But there's safety features supposed to be on.
Oh, you took it off. Yep, you took the little guard off. You shouldn't do that.
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
I do the same thing with mine, by the way. It doesn't have, because it's annoying.
One more China. Pull up China Funny. It's called China Funny.
Video or image?
Image.
Okay. China Funny. Okay, there we go. We're just burning through stuff here. What do we got here? Oh, what's going on there, Kramer? Trump is on his way to China, Jerry. I don't get it.
You don't get it.
I never watched Seinfeld.
I'd never
always
watched
thought it was
Seinfeld.
dumb,
I didn't.
so-
I didn't find it remotely.
That's my husband's
entertaining.
favorite show.
Yeah, I didn't. I wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't entertaining. I didn't like Friends either.
What? That's my favorite show.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the very last one that I had in there was Vance Home Alone at the bottom. Vance had a press conference today for the anti-fraud committee,
Yep.
task force, whatever it's called, that's headed by JD Vance. And they are going
that was
hard.
crazy.
Dr. Oz, there's
Did
so
you
many
hear
good
about
clips.
that? Dr. Oz basically told him that 800 medical billers were
I've got
kicked
the
out of
video
the
of that, too.
program and
they
never
didn't even
bothered.
they didn't even
Never-
contact. That's
like,
how
oh,
much fraud there is.
I've
Holy
got that
crap.
video too, so we'll play that after this. But so here's JD Vance, Home Alone.
Just landed in China a few hours ago. I always, you may know that because of Secret Service protocols that I don't travel outside of the country with the President of the United States. So on days today, I sometimes feel like Macaulay Culkin in Home Alone. I walk into the White House and it's very quiet and no one's there, and it takes me a second to realize exactly what's going on. But we've got a very big announcement today, actually a number of big announcements. And
I mean, that's kind of funny.
That's hilarious. He said he's
JD
like
Vance is a funny guy.
He's
Yeah,
so
he's
funny.
a funny guy.
This whole administration is amazing. I mean, he's like, you know, I forget he's gone. I will go to the White House and nobody's there. I feel like Macaulay Culkin in Home Alone. It takes me a minute to figure out why nobody's there.
Here's the difference between this administration and past administrations. It is full of real human beings, men. It is full of men who have sense of humors.
And women who are actually women.
Yeah. It's full of actual people who are not like despotic wannabes trying to rule over you. They're just real people. And they're funny. And I think that pisses the left off more than anything. The fact that JD Vance can stand in front of the American people and crack a joke and people laugh and they hate him for it.
Yep. So that was funny. You know what is not funny?
Yeah,
this
is not funny.
Is
I
not
understand
funny.
as well. So you're saying that we kicked off 800 fraudulent healthcare providers off of the Medicare system, and not a single one of them called the government and said, hey, you made a mistake.
We've had a handful of calls. We're not sure they're legitimate yet, but it's less than 20 out of 800, and we're auditing them.
Unbelievable. So at least 780 are not even trying to claim that they're not fraudulent. And again, those are businesses that we were giving hundreds of millions, in some cases billions of dollars to, not to provide services, but to make a fraudster rich. It's just completely insane. Drives home the scale and scope of the problem.
Unbelievable. You know, kind of compare that to the last vice president who was given a task force to manage. Do you remember when she was put in charge of the border? And I don't think she talked about the border at all after that. Here's Vice President JD Vance actually out doing the job that he was assigned to do.
Yeah.
Crazy ideas.
And very well. Finding, like, just eradicating fraud. The worst part about this is the fake and gay ass folks that are out there, the black pillars, nothing's happening. We're not getting anything that we were promised. Folks, this is it. This is what you were promised. We're going to root out fraud. We're going to get rid of it. We're going to find it. We're going to prosecute the people who are doing it. That's part of it. That's absolutely, if you want to preserve this country, if you want to, you know, cut spending and do all the things that everybody said, everybody says they want to do, you can't do it if you don't get rid of the fraud in these programs. And then, by the way, it turns out that almost all of the fraud is coming from the Kabuki Theater side of this equation. Almost all.
That's right. That's right.
So,
folks, we're gonna have to wrap. I just got a message from Patriot Mom. She's like, "You're done. Wrap it up." So it's
why does she get to decide how long our show goes?
I was mentioned on a podcast on Rumble.
X22
early
report.
this morning. Yeah, X22. Yeah, is that what it's called?
Yeah.
But several of you guys sent me messages I couldn't ignore because there were so many of them saying I was mentioned on this podcast. Someone messaged me and said they fell asleep listening to our Monday podcast. They were listening to it last night, and when they woke up, and like right after they woke up, they heard the podcast they were in say SKDoubleDub, and they were like, what? So you should go listen to it because it's pretty good. They go over that thread that we never really went over in here.
The X22 account or YouTube channel is a pretty big deal, particularly in the circles of people.
I had no
that
idea
you
who it
ignore.
was. I had no idea. People really think I'm like Q or something, and I'm like, I don't know. And then I really didn't know. I had to go find it today. I didn't know it was like those people till you told me.
Yep. I used to listen to it all the time when I was cutting grass. Anyway, we got to go. Patriot Mom is not happy. It's time to wrap it. Guys, I will not see you on Friday. Nom and SK are going to take over the show unsupervised. I will be back maybe once or twice next week as we wrap up the move and then spend some time vacationing and enjoying life. So if I don't see you in the next few days, have a great weekend.
Bye, guys.
trading sacred liberties for power, gold, and twisted dreams. From the broken borders to the fields our forefathers tilled. The enemy is prowling, truth is silenced on a kill. But I'm a patriot source, forged in fire, standing tall. Bible as my sword and Old Glory as my call. No apologies for loving this blood-bought land. We'll charge the gates of darkness with the fire of the righteous stand. God bless the USA. We'll never bend or break. Patriots of freedom, warriors wide awake. They laugh at heaven's mercy, call our faith a dying flame. But when the storm clouds gather, we invoke the holy name. The serpent weaves through statutes, twisting justice into chains. Yet with God as our commander, victory still remains. Yeah, I'm a patriot source, forged in fire, standing tall. Bible as my sword and Old Glory as my call. No apologies for loving this blood-bought land. We'll charge the gates of darkness with the fire of the righteous stand. God bless the USA. We'll never bend or break. Patriots of freedom, warriors wide awake. So arm your heart with courage, let your spirit mount the steed. Ride against the shadows, truth and justice we decree.